episode 51 is about Mortal Kombat. I just saw it a couple hours ago. And I guess I would say right off the bat, I did make a mistake, right? Because I was confused, like some people might have been. For some reason, I thought Liu Kang was the protagonist, but actually, no. Liu Kang is a different. I was confused about who was who there. The protagonist of this movie, Cole Young, is actually a new character that they created for the movie. Completely new character, and that's what had me confused. So Cole Young, the protagonist, new guy. And see, if you played the games, you would immediately have caught on to that. Here's the thing. That's right off the bat a big part of watching this movie. Were you a religious player of that game, or did you just play it a couple times, or did you never play it? That's the degrees of this. I played it a couple times. I don't know. I barely knew anything about it. I knew some character names, character looks, and that's it. So, that knowing the games does come into it a little bit, because there were questions popping into my head that I'm like, is this something that was in the game? And I don't know. And like, it's because I don't think the thing I've learned here is that no, a lot of this stuff has been written. It's a lot of original ideas and plot for this movie. The Mortal Kombat games did not focus on plot. It was about the tournament of fighters, and that's it. And I think that is the one thing this movie does well. It does keep most of its attention and focus on this idea of a tournament of people who need to fight, and that's it. And that's what really made it. That's what saved this movie. Because if they tried to dive into plot too much, there would be a lot of just creating a story world and trying to make some new franchise in one movie kind of work, and let's kick it off with this one, and let's have all these sequels, which they're still, I think, planning on doing. They're still gonna make sequels to this, but let's be clear, every time they started to delve into plot, it got a little bit shaky. All right, it got a little bit sloppy. So I think in regards to them keeping... Wow, I did it in the wrong order again, didn't I? Fuck. Alright, so the news is going to be second from now on, I guess. I don't know. Well, it doesn't really matter the order, does it? I swear I'm going to take this fucking thing out. I don't think I need it anymore. I really don't. Do I need it? Look, I'm not, talking into it. I'm going to take it out. I'm not going to do it right here on the episode, but I'm going to do it. You heard it here first. Yeah, so I think them sticking with it more about this fighting of champions it helped. Okay, because I got confused sometimes. It doesn't help. Doesn't help if you haven't. I guess it doesn't help that it's based on a video game. It almost is better if you're someone who has no idea what this is about. Because I was like, I wanted to know why. That's why they were smart to not try and jump into plot too much. But whenever they did, I just couldn't quite keep up with what they were trying to build upon. It just got confusing there. Cole was a cool character. Cole was relatable, and I empathized with it. He was easy to follow. But I think fans of the game would probably be like, wow, we got this new guy, and at the same time we don't get some other characters from the games that we wanted to see, because they had to make room for this new guy. I think the big one was Johnny Cage, right? People wanted to see him, and they don't. He's hinted at the end of the movie, so there's that. Obviously, spoilers, guys. I mean, come on. So they clearly are planning sequels and bringing in the other characters. But just to be clear about how much I know about the games and how little I played them, who is the fucking guy that sucks your soul out? Who's the main villain guy, dude? I don't remember him from the games. I don't think I used him I don't remember that fucking guy. This is how little I knew of the games. You can't. Who doesn't know Sub-Zero and Scorpion, right? They're the two most popular characters. But I always considered them the top tier guys and the meanest of the meanest, right? For some reason I was completely drawn a blank on this other guy, this guy who was in charge of all the bad guys. I just didn't fucking know who he was. It's fine too. It's if you're just watching the movie for the movie, you don't need to know this shit. It's just sometimes I felt like I wanted to brush up on the games for some reason. But don't even fucking worry about that, okay? With this film, though, I took it the way I took Godzilla vs. Kong, okay? You gotta know what you're walking into. You gotta know that it's this big, action, violent, bloody, just thing. Like, with Godzilla vs. Kong, you gotta know you're walking into the CGI fest. With this, it's just nonstop action sequences, blood, gore, all of it, right? A lot of F-bombs, a lot of just chaotic. There's a whole chaotic nature to this film. It's like a machine of chaos. Chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. You know the thing about chaos. Alright, I'm going into Joker. Went on a little Joker. I don't want to go on Joker tangents because I'll go all fucking night with the quotes. We don't need to do that. But yeah, it's very chaotic. I think it's kind of like a theme of this chaos almost. But the action packed and it's what you would expect. I thought there would be more literal fatalities too. I don't know why. That doesn't make sense when I think about it now. Why would someone yell out in the middle like a narrator or something like a fatality? No, that's not what that means at all. The fatalities are the fatalities and the way that victories happen in the battles. Yeah, the way that someone wins. And the way that someone wins in each fight between people was all done very well. Okay, let's be very clear about that. It was the most gruesome and violent and gory thing you could expect. Some of these fatalities, man. Whew. If you want that, if you love that shit, you're gonna love this because it was cool. It was fucking wild, dude. All the fatalities were just. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Very creative, very fun. Yeah. So the idea of keeping a focus on superpowered people in a tournament, good. It was just weird and corny when they got into plot. It just didn't work. Because the thing is though, I naturally find myself drifting towards plot, so I can't help it. I'm just immediately asking questions, and I'm just like, I want answers. Answers they really don't come. You get the basics are laid out for you, right? And you get the basic answers to things that you need to know, but all the little things they bring up kind of quickly, I'm like, wait a minute, well, what does that mean? And they don't answer. So thankfully they don't get into that too much. Cause or if they're they need to go all the way so that it's expanded on in depth and it makes sense to you, Character development is barely anything worth talking about. It's just kind of find your power and fight the bad guys. That's it. This whole idea of finding your, what's it called? A con, your power, that's how they gauged character development of each character. Every character's trying to get that power, and that allowed for the most character moments to happen. So that, in terms of character arcs, that was how they gauged it, and it worked. It worked well enough. There's no problems there, really. The bad guys are scary sometimes, terrifying sometimes. in their own right, but they have no depth at all. Obviously, it's very one-dimensional. It's just, I want to take over the earth, you know. Um, and then I was a little bit like kind of disappointed with how they went about our protagonist, because he doesn't kind of get his big moment that's like for himself. You know, the whole story that you're building to him, and you want to see that moment where he takes on the big bad by himself and defeats the big bad that nobody else can beat, and they don't take that route. It actually becomes more of like a family thing, a generational thing with this family that is Cole and Scorpion, right? Hanzo Hitashishi or whatever. Their family getting, finally beating their nemesis, right? Sub-Zero is the guy that they need to beat, and they do it together in kind of like this family moment thing. So that was okay and cool, and you got to see Scorpion. You wanted to see Scorpion. But I think in terms of story, it didn't work for me that Cole wasn't the guy to be able to do it on his own. Scorpion kind of just came out of nowhere to help Cole win, you know. I don't know whether or not that was a good choice or not. I don't know. It's also weird when you have a character we watch die in the beginning, come back to life. It's never easy to do that. Narratively, every time they tried to expand on things, it didn't work. Maybe part of it's my lack of knowledge about the game, but the big thing was this whole idea about realms. They kept bringing it up, and it was confusing me. So, like, we hear about Earth Realm, but then there's in-world and out-world, and I guess one of them is Earth Realm. I just don't fucking get that. And then, where does Raiden come from? Is he also from Outworld, or is he from another realm? I didn't understand the realm thing. You know, this is when they tried to get into plot and it didn't work. It just didn't. That stuff was a mess. So thank God that they stuck to this whole idea about finding your power, fighting the tournament, beating the bad guys. And thank God that they left Cole getting his powers more towards the end, because that was one of the things I was waiting for. So it helped that I was waiting for something to come finally, and happen. So Cole gets his powers late, and it worked. I wanted to see him be the guy to take Sub-Zero out, but it's fine, you know, because we do meet Scorpion in the beginning. And it's kind of like an origin thing for Scorpion that I'm assuming they made for the movie, and it's not something from the games. But, so it still worked, you know. It's funny, too. Like, there are things that don't make sense. Like, there's a moment Scorpion says to Cole, "Thank you for freeing me. Thank you, you freed me." How? When? What did he do to free you? There's no explanation on that line at all. That came out of nowhere. I was like, how was Cole the one responsible for freeing Scorpion? Don't understand that line. It just didn't make sense. I have no idea how Scorpion came back, honestly, to life, or from hell, or whatever. Thank God for Kano. Let's talk about that for a second. Kano, hilarious, dude. The whole time he's in it, he keeps that movie just interesting with all his one-liner bullshit, everything. He's just hilarious. The humor of him just made it great. There was another element of the movie I didn't even expect to see coming that I enjoyed. And all the fight scenes were good, and all the choreography was good. But it's funny too, because like, how can Cole even fight these guys, and then he can't beat that MMA fighter in the beginning? It's like, what, dude? It's like that you couldn't beat that guy, but you can fight fucking Sub-Zero. Like, Jesus, that didn't work at all, huh? That didn't line up. Whatever, dude. And then sometimes, yes, there was a recycling of moves. I noticed this whole thing where they keep the whole tossing of an opponent into something probably happened like 50 times. But other than that, all the fighting stuff was cool. Definitely cool. And all the fatalities were very unique and creative. So I mean, you're going to enjoy that stuff. I don't know, dude. it's not like something I can break down into like something very. I can't get super like, oh, it is what it is. It was an action movie all the way through, and just pure action. It's less plot, more action. Less character development, more action. That's the kind of movie, and that's. I went in wanting to see something like that anyway. So I mean, it was just a fun movie. It was like a spectacle. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. My rating of it is a 7.7 out of 10. It's pretty good. Something anyone could watch. Let's put it that way. You can watch it and enjoy it. It's enjoyable. Definitely enjoyable. A fun ride. But don't expect it to be something where you're always going to want to rewatch it. Like, I need to rewatch Mortal Kombat. It's been a while. No, I don't see that. Maybe I don't see that. You could. But yeah, definitely go check it out. You can see it in theaters. The box office does exist, people. It's there. But also, you can watch it on HBO Max at home right now.